I mean, like, they were like the biggest generation of people. Like, they deserve the respect they get. They passed through such issues as the Depression, World War II, Cold War. Like, have a lot of wisdom gained over the years, and I think that's something to be respected and admired.
Um, I don't know uh, if that's the most important thing to help elderly people be happy, is to have the family members stop beating up about them. It also seems like it's one of those challenging situations, like when you take children away from their parents who are being abusive or aren't being great parents, that's pretty traumatic in itself. If you prosecute or lock up their family members, then in some ways, you've taken away some important supports potentially for them. So it seems like, again, not knowing very much about it, but one question I would have is, could you start with doing things like social services and providing counseling for people who are feeling very upset or trapped by their parents, or maybe are their elderly parents, or maybe counseling to the elderly. Maybe look at it more as a social issue and try to handle it with social services.
Okay, to improve the life of the elderly, we can make living in elderly homes free and provide more services, and maybe create better interfaced computers for the elderly that only do like email and news. I don't know what elderly abuse is, but I think it means, I guess, like the um, sons and daughters of the elderly person trying to like take the person's money or something. We can prevent elderly abuse is maybe making the elderly a little more isolated from like people they say abuse them, like maybe listening to them a little more, like check in with the elderly and say, like, are like, will you tell me if anybody who's abusing you or trying to take your money, who is like one of your sons or daughters?
Who do we want to identify ourselves as? So, I mean, these are kind of the people who brought us up. Sort of, they're the earlier generation in this country. It's giving back to the people who continued the forward motion, sort of who raised you, who kind of brought things into meaning. Um, so I think it should be sort of an important goal to help them in the end of their life just as much as they helped us. Um, they shouldn't really have to go through sort of the difficulties or every day-to-day difficulties that we go through simply because they're elderly. They can't really do it. And they sort of almost reverted to the state of children. And they should be treated carefully and respectfully towards the end of their life.